The next slide, slide 7, is all about how to successfully manage millennial expectations. And we talked about a little bit of this already. But it's so very important that you set clear expectations. Be upfront and honest. Be able to paint a clear picture around what the opportunity will be, what it won't be, so they have a really good, realistic job preview going into consideration of the opportunity. Ensure that you have challenging and meaningful tasks and projects. If this is to do administrative work, if it's to backfill for possibly a reception or a front desk person, if that's all the person's going to be doing, I'd argue consider a different route. The intern's going to want to do something meaty and meaningful. If you can't produce that, maybe you're not the best host for an internship. Provide time for coaching and mentoring. Be sure to share those unwritten rules. Provide the regular feedback. Recognize a job well done. Recognize that they have a life outside of work, and be sure to include them in regular meetings. We've touched upon all these things already, but it's so key because doing these things is actually quite easy. But not knowing that you're supposed to do them can be the largest challenge. Once you're aware and once you can be explicit and be conscious around planning for these things, you get that much more successful in your efforts of making sure the intern and you have a meaningful experience. Now we'd like to turn our attention to a little bit around, well, how might you be able to take the next step? How might you be able to tap into some of the services being provided by the Columbus Chamber? You're interested, now you want to take action. First, it's worth spending a little bit of time talking about the Chamber's Attract and Retain Talent Initiative. An initiative that really has 3 active components to it. First of all, it's all of the Chamber's phenomenal work around the Young Professionals Initiative. Robbie Banks, who serves as the Young Professionals Manager working here at the Columbus Chamber, has been in her role for just a little over a year now. And in that capacity, Robbie serves as really the major conduit and facilitator for young professional activity in the Columbus region. With over 60 young professional organizations, Columbus leads the nation with respect to its young professionals activity. Live, Work, Play Columbus is a site that the Chamber created, a site that's free to visit, free to use, that's really meant to serve as an objective resource for persons giving consideration to relocating to the Columbus region who aren't familiar with the Columbus region today. What you'll find at Live, Work, Play Columbus is community-supplied information that's extremely beneficial for persons who are giving consideration to Columbus. And then finally, ColumbusInternships.com, the primary online vehicle that we are leveraging today to promote employer opportunities. ColumbusInternships.com is limited to internships based in the Columbus region. There are no limits around students and or the universities they're affiliated with that can go out and register and post their resume at ColumbusInternships.com. So what you'll find are students from all across the country who, for whatever reason, are looking for Columbus-based internships. It's free to them to use. It's free to employers to use. And ColumbusInternships.com, again, serves as the primary vehicle that we leverage to post opportunities online. A offshoot, if you will, of the ColumbusInternships.com initiative is making available a resource that can really drive the creation of new internships. And again, I serve as that resource. Why is that important that the Chamber and the Columbus region be focused on developing new internship opportunities? Because of the economic impact. Whether it be a paid or unpaid internship, every new internship created will result in economic impact to this region. You multiply that over 50, 100, 200 times, and literally the impact is in the hundreds of thousands of dollars range. And again, if you think about that logically, how could that happen? Well, take, for example, the intern who decides to stay in Columbus over the course of the summer instead of returning home. They're now paying rent for a period of maybe 3 months where they wouldn't have otherwise planned to do so. They're now buying gas, buying groceries, spending their disposable income in the Columbus region where otherwise that would have been spent somewhere else. And again, that's just one individual. And you think about that power over the course of 50, 100 plus times, you can understand what that impact begins to look like. And then it's also the opportunity to retain. If Columbus and the region is going to have a fighting chance of keeping those 110,000 college students in the region, got to give them a reason to stay. And the internships are a great way to do so. It doesn't seal the deal, so to speak, but it at least gives the intern the opportunity to begin to explore the Columbus region beyond what it's like to go here and live here every day as a student. I mentioned myself being available as an employer resource. And I'm here to provide free support to local employers around, if you will, the basics, some of the blocking and tackling required to get an internship up and running. If you're interested in tapping into me as a resource and taking advantage of these services offered to you by your Columbus Chamber, then reach out to me. You can reach out to me via email at david_kofer@columbus.org. And I think that'll be a good wrap-up for our session today. First and foremost, meaningful, value-added project assignments. And they need to be meaningful and value-added from both your perspective and the perspective of the intern. So after you get your team in the room and you brainstorm and you ask the question, what could this intern do for you? When you look at that flip chart, if you don't see that the things written there make you better or advance your agenda somehow, and that they would be appealing and attractive to a young person to do, start over, because you're not there yet. But the very first question is ask yourself, will it advance you? So if you're looking at some stuff and you're thinking, yeah, these are nice to haves, now focus on the must-haves. Focus on the things that are going to really make you and your office better. I think the other thing would be is the availability and commitment of an individual who could supervise and or mentor this person. If you're thinking, well, we're going to give this person the assignments and then cut them loose, and there's going to be very infrequent touch points and check-ins, I think there's a couple of risks there. One is the quality of work. These are young people who are being developed. They're new to their careers. They're new to their professions. They're sharp. They're bright. They're tech-savvy, have a lot to offer. But to simply cut them loose and let them go, only to check in every so often, may put at risk the delivery quality. And guess what? They don't want to be just left to chance. They want to succeed. They want to exceed your expectations. So it's important that you have a resource, again, set aside who can supervise and mentor them. And then I think the third thing, and hopefully along the way, in addition to the top things to think about, I've offered the potential pitfalls, which are really the converse of not doing these well. But the third thing I'd offer that's really key to be thinking about is beyond the job itself and the tasks and projects that they're going to have the chance to work on, what else do you have to offer? What else can you connect your intern to that could be viewed as beneficial and value-added? You said you were in the Office of Development, I believe, and I'm not sure if that's human development or development in the form of fundraising, that kind of thing. But regardless of what it is you do, you have a group of stakeholders. You have a group of individuals that you interact with. You may have a board, a committee, people who may be of influence in the community outside the Ohio State University campus, etc. Getting that young person introduced to them in a meaningful, valuable way. And it's not, here's our board directory, feel free to reach out to any of them. Have a structured introduction. Introduce the board members by way of your directory possibly and say, here's who they are, here's what they do. Take a look at it and come back to me with your thoughts around who you'd like to meet. And let's say they come back with a list of 3 to 5 people. Reaching out via email to the individual and saying, our new intern would really like to meet with you. In particular, they have an interest in X, Y, Z, and we know that that's what you do at your firm. Would you be open to scheduling a lunch meeting with them sometime in the next 4 to 6 weeks? You do that 3 to 5 times over, your intern just got lunch with 4 to 6 people that they didn't previously know. That's going to be huge. If nothing else, they got 4 to 6 new relationships built, but who knows what might come of it. Additional introductions, possible full-time employment opportunities, maybe the next internship, whatever it might be. But I think if you don't do that, again, what you're at risk is not fully answering the question of what's in it for me from the intern's perspective, because they're looking for more than just the projects and day-to-day job tasks. So 3 things to definitely touch upon: meaningful projects and assignments, someone who's set aside to be a supervisor or mentor, and kind of further rounding out the benefit and value add from the intern perspective. And really the 3 largest pitfalls, I think, would be the converse of those, not doing those well. Again, I would like to thank everybody for their time today and for dialing in. Very much appreciate your participation. Your participation is in part validation that the topic is valuable and meaningful. Again, reach out to us. I gave you Andrea's email address earlier. I'll do that again, Andrea_Applegate@columbus.org. My email address again, David_Kofer, C-O-F as in Frank, E-R, @columbus.org. Reach out to either of us. Give us some feedback around today's session. Give us some feedback around what you want to hear from us in the future. And most importantly, If you're now interested in moving to action around this topic of interns, let us know. We'd love to get started. It's a good time, in part during this break period, to get new internship opportunities posted as students are leveraging some of their downtime at home and giving consideration to opportunities that might be available to them after the first of the year. So timing's good. Take full advantage of it. We hope to hear from you. We hope to have you be a participant in future events. With that, we're going to end today's call and be on the lookout for both the PowerPoint deck being made available via email and or columbus.org and columbusinternships.com. Also, the audio recording of this will be available via the website as well, www.columbusinternships.com. Thank you again, and have a great day.